All right, Brent topping 55 a barrel, the first time since February. Futures surging. You want to say it's a demand situation, Guy, but I mean, it feels more like a supply situation because the other commodities are not really agreeing with the rally in Brent. Citi did upgrade their 2022 forecast, but that's really because of the Saudi Arabian cut that happened that did surprise the markets. I wonder how long it can kind of move on its own versus the other industrial commodities.
So a couple of things to say on that, one of which is I'm surprised the market's taking this view. I read into the Saudi decision an indication that maybe lockdowns are having a much bigger effect on the demand side than maybe the market is anticipating. And as you say, copper is down today. It's down by 0.7%. Iron ore is down. Aluminium is down. Nickel is down. Silver's down really hard today. So the metals complex, Alix, is really beginning to turn right now. And you wonder whether or not that's something of a canary in the coal mine. Those metals were a big part of the reflation trade. The expectation that China's going to power ahead, that the electrification program is going to be there. People have been piling into metals for a couple of months now. If they're starting to weaken up, you want to pay attention to that.
Also, I want to bring in the dollar as well, because the dollar's been higher today, with the exception of the cable rate. And you have to wonder how much of that is putting pressure on the industrial metals, how much of that has also then been stockpiling by, say, China versus underlying demand. And again, the same question, how long can Brent kind of diverge from a stronger dollar, if that's persistent? I mean, if that means more stimulus from the U.S., better growth here, and a higher dollar, that's not necessarily at all consensus.
No, to be fair, metals moved first. So metals definitely moved before oil. Oil was the laggard at one point. And there's probably a little bit of a kind of catch-up trade. Metals seem to be out in front. So if they dip, maybe it does mean that crude's got a little bit further to run. But yeah, certainly something to watch. The dollar, I think, is a really important factor as well. It's going to be really interesting to see, Alix, because the market is really short the dollar right now. Whether or not that consensus starts to turn around, if we are going to see more stimulus coming out, if we are going to see the US getting control of the virus, if we are as well going to potentially see some of that savings being spent come the spring, does the US economy really get into gear? And if so, does the dollar start to kick in with that as well?
Yep, and what do you do when yields are at 1.1% on the 10-year? A big move and a big number compared to where we were just a few months ago.